A few weeks back we were talking about Super Mario Galaxy and the fact that not all of the tracks were recorded with a live real orchestra. One of my regrets in that video is I didn't really show enough examples of the ones that do have an orchestra and the ones that don't. So in this video I want to go through every single track from Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 and figure out how many of them actually had a full recorded live orchestra, how many are hybrid, how many are completely... People don't like when I use the word fake, but I'm sorry, they're fake instruments. It doesn't mean it's fake art, it doesn't mean it's fake music, but they're fake instruments. A few things to note. First one is there's not a ton of data out there on which ones are actually live recorded, so I'm going to be going by my ears, and you can let me know in the comments if I get something wrong, or if you suspect that maybe I misplaced one of the tracks. Number two, I am kind of just ignoring percussion. I have a lot of trouble telling if percussion is real or not. Honestly, I think sampled percussion sounds basically as good. I know a lot of people won't like that in the comments. And even worse is I'm including piano because sometimes it's very obvious that piano isn't real, and then other times it sounds pretty good. I feel like piano is pretty easy to fake too. And there are some that I just kind of think are obviously fake, and again, if you disagree, let me know why in the comments. I'll be splitting up the tracks into 5 different categories: orchestral, hybrid, instrument or two, mock-up, and synth. Orchestral and synth are pretty straightforward. Hybrid will be when most of the instruments were live recorded, but they add a blend of synth. Instrument or two will be when an instrument or two were live recorded and the rest were not. Mock-up will be when all of the instruments sound like they're imitating an orchestra, but they didn't live record them. They're just samples. Starting with Super Mario Galaxy Overture. This one starts completely with a live orchestra, but then it goes into this slow, soft piano with these synths in the background, these leads, the whoop 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 noise that you'll hear. So that is our first hybrid track. Next we have the Star Festival, which is also hybrid. It has beautiful instruments. I almost thought about putting this in an instrument or two, but the string section felt so full, so I'm going to say hybrid. Next we have Attack of the Airships, and this is just an orchestra, and it's so beautiful, and if the Super Mario Galaxy movie does not sound like this, then I'm not watching. Next up, Catastrophe, also just completely orchestral. This is when the castle is being taken to space. It's a really cool moment. Peach's castle stolen. This is when Mario is flung off into space with no hope of getting back to the castle on time. Also in the orchestral category, but there's something weird about it that we will get into later in the video. Enter the Galaxy. This plays right after you leave the gateway planet, and it also plays when the Comet Observatory takes off to the center of the universe. Hybrid. Eggplanet, one of the only ones that were made by Koji Kondo in this soundtrack, and it is orchestral. Rosalina in the Observatory 1. Rosalina in the Observatory is ironically the track that plays when Mario is in the observatory. And it has 3 layers depending on how many power stars you've gotten, so it progressively gets into a big orchestra at the end when you have the most power stars. And this is our first one that I will be putting in an instrument or two, because I'm pretty sure it just has the flute and the cello, and the rest are just little digital leads. Honeybee Kingdom. Now this one, I am pretty sure the electric guitar that I think is in the left ear when you're listening to it is real. It does not sound like it's made with MIDI instruments at all. It sounds really good. If it is, it fooled me, but I'm pretty sure it's one instrument that was played live and the rest are just samples, an instrument or two. Space Junk Road, I know there's a piano, but I am like 90% sure this piano is just sampled. And so this will be the first one that I will put under synth. Battle Rock Galaxy is hybrid, actually, because if you listen to it, you might just think it's just an orchestra, but if you listen really closely, it's actually playing Space Fantasy in the background. Because this is one that layers, and different parts of the galaxy would be playing Space Fantasy, so Space Fantasy is actually playing very quietly in the background of Battle Rock Galaxy and harmonizes perfectly, making it hybrid, not orchestral. Beach Bowl Galaxy, I decided to put under mock-up because I listened to it and I think most of the instruments sound like they have a trumpet and some sort of like flute instrument, and it almost sounds like it was supposed to be imitating real instruments, even though there are some synth instruments in there. So I put that under mock-up. I didn't know whether to put that under mock-up or synth, but let me know if you disagree in the comments. Rosalina in the Observatory 2 is just an orchestra. They remove all of the synth instruments that was in the first version. Enter Bowser Jr. is also kind of like Honey Bee Kingdom. I think the electric guitar is real because it does not sound like you could recreate that with a MIDI, especially back when this game was made, an instrument or two. Waltz of the Booze, I decided to put in hybrid because it does have the ghosty, like theremin synth almost, and then it also has strings and some woodwind. Buoy Bass Galaxy is my favorite of the hybrids, and it's in hybrid because it's a very balanced mix of the synth and orchestra. Like most of these are like mostly orchestra with some synth. This one is almost 50-50, but I think a little bit more orchestra. Gusty Garden Galaxy, of course, just orchestral with a really cool like strumming guitar, which sounds real to me. Pretty sure it's real. Rosalina in the Observatory 3, of course, is orchestral. King Bowser is the track that plays in all three of the Bowser fights, and it is orchestral with an added choir, so not a hybrid, just orchestral. Melty Molten Galaxy is hybrid. It starts out with the brass section, then goes into the sampled sitar with, and then it goes into the like theremin type synth and stuff, and then ends basically just with the orchestra, I think still with some synths in the background. The Galaxy Reactor is another really awesome blend between the orchestral instruments and the synth. And this is the one that plays right before you fight Bowser, so it is a perfect way to build up to an epic battle. Next one is Final Battle with Bowser, and this one's also hybrid, unlike King Bowser. This one plays at the last fight right after you knock him into the middle planet thing. It has the synths kind of in the background of the string and brass melodies playing on top. It's really good. Go listen to the whole thing. Daybreak, A New Dawn is an orchestra, and I almost put this in hybrid because I heard the piano and I was like, is the piano fake? But then again, I don't know. But there is some piano in there, and it sounds like it really could be real, so again, let me know. This plays when Mario wakes up in the New Galaxy. Birth is when Mario says, "Welcome New Galaxy," and it zooms out and ends the story. I put this under hybrid because I think those bells are samples or synths. I could be wrong. It just, to me, it doesn't completely sound organic, but let me know. Super Mario Galaxy plays during the credits, and it is just orchestral. There's no synths or anything, and I think that was a perfect choice to end off the game. Purple Comet is pretty obviously a hybrid. Blue Sky Athletic, which is just a recreation of the athletic theme from Super Mario Bros. 3, and it is just synth. Super Mario 2007, the one that plays in like Toy Time Galaxy, is completely synth, and it's just a recreation of the original Super Mario Bros. Theme. Okay, we're in disc 2. File select goes under synth. Luma, this beautiful lullaby theme, synth. Gateway Galaxy, I also decided to put under synth, even though it has sampled harp, so maybe you could say that it was supposed to be a mock-up, but I don't know. I think it just works as synth to me. Stolen Grand Star plays when you're inside of the planet where the first Grand Star is found, and it is literally just like atmospheric noises, so that's under synth. To the Observatory Grounds 1 and 2 are mock-ups. Observatory Dome, synth. Course Select goes under mock-up because those are just sampled strings that should have been recorded live. How hard would it have been? Dino Piranha I originally put under synth, and then when re-listening to it while recording this video, it just kind of sounds like a mock-up. There's a lot of the strings and the brass that I just feel like could have been recorded. I think mock-up at this point is just me basically saying it should have been a recorded orchestra, and it wasn't. So Dino Piranha I'm putting under mock-up. A Chance to Grab a Star, a beautiful and mysterious synth. A tense moment, this definitely should go under mock-up because to me it sounds very much like they orchestrated it to be an orchestral song and then didn't record it live. Big Bad Bugaboom plays at Honey Hive Galaxy when the bugs are like taking over. Pretty sure it's just the same as Honeybee Kingdom, but sped up with some added instruments, so I'm putting that under instrument or two. King Caliente, synth. The Toad Brigade is synth. Airship Armada is pretty much the same thing as the Attack of the Airships, just on loop in a specific part, so orchestral. Aquatic Race is a synth. Space Fantasy, also a synth. Mega Leg really sounds like they had plans to get an orchestra to play this one and just couldn't because of budget reasons, because it's just a mock-up. Space Athletic, synth. Speedy Comet I put under mock-up, and maybe this one's just meant to be synth, but the sampled strings just really sound like they should be orchestral. I was very confused at where I should put this one, so if you disagree, I won't get mad. Beach Bowl Galaxy Undersea, I just put this one under synth. Interlude plays the same thing as the Space Athletic, just slower with little bells, so it's under synth. Just, again, a recreation of the underground theme from Super Mario Bros. Bowser's Stronghold Appears is synth. The Fiery Stronghold is a recreation of Koopa's Road from Super Mario 64, and it's synth. The Big Staircase. I listened really hard, and so it sounds like Peach's Castle is stolen, right? However, the only instruments in this one that sounds real is the brass, and it almost sounds like they replaced the strings from the other one with sampled strings. And the only reason I'm so confused at this is, why would they do that if they already had strings recorded for the other one? So I don't know about this one, but I'm putting this one under an instrument or two because I think it's just like the high brass, like the trumpets, and everything else is replaced. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just like hearing something wrong, but listen to this and let me know what you think. Bowser Appears. I put this one under instrument or two because it's literally just drums and French horn, and drums may or may not be live, played, or sampled, and the French horns are just one recording of them ripping like a whoop, and it just on loop. Starball is synth, and it had to be for the context of the game because it can play faster or slower depending on how fast Mario's moving, and so it makes sense that it's just a synth. The Library, synth. Buoy Base Galaxy Undersea takes away the orchestra, adds some different instruments, but it's just synth. Rainbow Mario, synth. Chase the Bunnies is synth. Help, with an exclamation point. This one I had a little bit of trouble. I thought about putting it under mock-up because it has the sampled strings, but I just don't really know if that's what the effect they were going for, so I'm just putting it under synth. Major Burrows, synth. Pipe Interior, synth, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love this, and I was mad when they didn't bring it back into Mario Galaxy 2 and had that other piece that plays inside pipes. Cosmic Comet, synth. Drip Drop Galaxy, synth, and it works perfectly. Kingfin, I put under mock-up. It sounds way too much like it was supposed to be recorded with an orchestra. You can disagree, but they're just basically all sampled instruments. By the way, most people even skip over Kingfin, so this is when you're fighting the Bouldergeist, if you need help figuring out where this plays. Who am I kidding? You're all Super Mario Galaxy fans. I'm sure y'all can figure that out. Boo Race, I decided to put under synth. It's just a slower version of Aquatic Race, basically. Ice Mountain, synth. Another one that I just would not have any other way. Ice Mario, also a synth. Lava Path, which is the Ice Mountain theme, but whenever you get into the lava area, is also a synth. Fire Mario, which is slightly different than Ice Mario, is also a synth. Dusty Dune Galaxy is a synth. I think like you could say this is a mock-up, but I don't know. I'm just putting it under synth. Heavy Metal Mecha Bowser, I did have this under synth, but I just realized that like if you took all of the sampled instruments and recorded them, this would have just been a hybrid, so I'm putting it under mock-up now. Ah Wah Wah is a weird name. This one is just synth. It plays during, I think when you're fighting the mole and maybe some other boss battles. Deep Dark Galaxy, I also put this under mock-up just because I feel like it would sound better with an orchestra. That's my opinion, but I just think the sampled instruments in there just were meant to be live and just weren't recorded. Camella is synth. Starball 2 is also synth. Sad Girl, synth. This plays during one of the chapters in the storybook. Flying Mario, when you get the red star, is, I decided, a mock-up because it kind of has all of those sampled instruments. I actually recreated this track to sound like what I think it would have sounded like if they used a real orchestra, so you should check that out after this video. Star Child, this plays when you're talking to Rosalina after the Big Bang sequence. Synth. A Wish, this happens during the supermassive black hole that almost swallows up everything until the Lumas sacrifice their lives. And I put this under mock-up, and I actually also recreated this one to sound more like a real orchestra. You should check that out after this video. Now I ran into a problem because I said I would ignore piano, but Family is just a piano. It sounds real to me, but I have been easily fooled by sampled pianos, so I am putting this under instrument or two because I realize even if it's sampled, I don't think they wrote this through MIDI. It sounds like they played it live, so I'm gonna put this under instrument or two. Other, these are ones that were not on disc 1 or disc 2. Spin Power is definitely a mock-up. I recreated this one in a video that you should check out. I'll put a link at the end of this video. Power Star Git and Grand Star Git are both mock-ups. It's too bad they didn't, like, you know, recreate them a couple of years later with like real instruments. Bowser's Plan, I couldn't find an official name for this track, is a mock-up. Final Grand Star Appears, this one is a mock-up and it is actually the worst one that could have been a mock-up. Like, they should have put this one as a real orchestra. It's the end. It's when you get the Grand Star after this epic battle with Bowser with the real instruments, and then it just goes to sampled, and it's kind of sad in my opinion. Galaxy Intro, mock-up. Overture, just like the first game, is a hybrid. A New Story kind of sounds like the Starbit Festival from the first game, but with the melody of Gusty Garden Galaxy, and that one is also hybrid, just like the Starbit Festival. The Lost Luma, mock-up. The Power of the Stars is when Mario achieves the Luma spin power, and that is a mock-up, kind of like the one in the first game, even though they're completely different tracks. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is really short. This is what it sounds like. Yeah. You might think Sky Station Galaxy would be orchestral, but it is actually a hybrid because of this part right here. You hear the little whoops in the background. Yeah, so hybrid. Pee-wee Piranha is synth. Unknown Star, which at the top of my head, the only time I remember it playing is before you jump on the ball and the rolling ball galaxy ones. And that one's just a synth. The Starship Appears is definitely a mock-up, and I kind of want to recreate that one as a realistic orchestra. If y'all want to hear that, let me know in the comments to motivate me to go work on that. Starship Mario Blasting Off, also a mock-up. I want to recreate this one as well. Yoshi Appears I put as synth, even though it does almost sound like a mock-up because I'm pretty sure all of the instruments are like sampled instruments, but I'm putting it under synth because it kind of sounds good as it is. Yoshi's Star Galaxy was actually made with more big band instruments like the saxophones with the brass section, but it's hybrid. And listening to it again, it has like an organ, which to me sounds more like samples, and then maybe like a womp womp electric guitar. It almost sounds like it's almost completely live, but I don't think it is, so that I might have to put some question marks on that one. Starship Mario 1 is a very simple but very real orchestra. World 1 and 2, same track, synth. The Starship's Journey is a hybrid. Spin Dig Galaxy kind of has that big band feel, but it is, unlike Yoshi's Star, it's most definitely a hybrid. Dig a Leg is synth. Flip Swap Galaxy, synth. Puzzle Plank Galaxy is Mario Galaxy 2's first instrument or two, because I'm pretty sure the only real instrument there is the fiddle. Oh, there might have been another one But if so, that's instrument or two. But I think the bass is synth, and I think the guitar is sampled. So correct me if I'm wrong. Tip network is what most of you people never heard, because it's when you talk to the little TV that shows you how to do something that an 8-year-old could figure out. And it's synth. Wah 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 is another weird name. Kind of like the other one, but a little bit of a different melody, but it has the same instrument, so it's synth. Wild Glide Galaxy, the guitar in the background almost sounds like it could be real. It almost sounds like a 12-string guitar. So I'm curious if anybody else thinks that's a real guitar in the background. So I put it in instrument or two with a question mark because I could be wrong. You Got a Star, they did. They recreated the Power Star Get theme from Mario Galaxy. It's in a different key, but it is orchestral. So I put Cosmic Cove Galaxy in synth, but I almost think it could also be a mock-up because the harp and piano are the main instruments. But to me, again, it just gave off that vibe of it's not supposed to be. It doesn't sound like it's trying to imitate something real, if that makes sense. Hytale Falls Galaxy is another classic remake, and it is under synth. World 3, instrument or two. Forest Friends, this plays in, I think it's before you get on the slide with the little wooden dudes, and it sounds like this could be like some sort of real marimba, but I put it under synth, maybe with a question mark. I'm telling y'all, it's those percussions. I just can't get them for some reason. Slider, which is a recreation of Slider from Super Mario 64, is a synth. Although I could see it being passed as a mock-up because of the banjo and stuff in the background, but again, it just feels more synth-like to me. Freezy Flake Galaxy is weird. I almost had this Mandela effect where I remember it being played with like an oboe or something, but no, it's synth with sampled accordion. Pipe Room is synth. Rolling Masterpiece Galaxy is kind of like Starball from the first one, but they change a couple of instruments, but it's still synth. Cloudy Court Galaxy is orchestral. Mega Hammer, synth. Starship Mario 2, orchestral. World 4, synth. Honey Hop Galaxy is like pretty much the same as the Honey Hive Galaxy, but with some added instruments, so it's going to go in instrument or two. Chompworks Galaxy is undeniably synth. Glam Dozer is synth. Beat Block Galaxy is synth. On to disc 2. I put Starshine Beach Galaxy under mock-up, and kind of like Beach Bowl Galaxy, it sounds fine as it is with just sampled instruments and synth instruments, but it still just uses so many like imitations of live instruments, and so I put it under mock-up, but feel free to disagree. Teleporter Melody is synth. Starshine Beach Galaxy Underwater is synth. Bowser's Lava Lair is a recreation of the Fiery Stronghold from the first game, and it is now a hybrid with real instruments and a choir. It sounds really good. You Got a Grand Star is a recreation of the mock-up from Mario Galaxy. Again, in a different key, but it has the real brass, the real strings, and it's very beautiful. It's orchestral. World 5 is synth. Space Storm Galaxy is hybrid. Upside Dizzy Galaxy is synth. Haunted Halls Galaxy, I actually thought it was hybrid with like sampled instruments, and I was going to put it under a mock-up, but I re-listened to it. I'm like, those are real instruments. I don't know why I never noticed that before. Slip Sam Galaxy, one of my favorites of the hybrids in this game. It's a hybrid, like I said. It's really awesome. The brass is so good. It's probably my favorite desert level from a Mario game just because of the music. Squizzard, the boss from that galaxy, is synth. Bowser Jr.'s Fiery Flotilla is orchestral. Starship Mario 3, orchestral. World 6, synth. Melty Monster Galaxy is hybrid. It, mostly has the orchestral instruments, but if you listen closely, those synths are there. Throwback Galaxy. I put this in orchestral, even though I am aware this is more of a big band, but I didn't detect any synth or sample, so orchestral-ish. Sweet Mystery Galaxy, synth. Fleet Glide Galaxy is a hybrid, although almost unnoticeable when you're playing the game. Gobblegut, I really like this track for some reason. It is a hybrid. It has those spacey, atmospheric pads in the background, with the orchestral music doing the melody. Slimy Spring Galaxy, synth. Boss Blitz Galaxy, I've always had a problem with this track. It just kind of sounds pretty low quality. and I'm saying it's a mock-up. And if they did recreate it, which maybe that's another one I could do, I would love to see what that would have sounded like. Speedrun is a hybrid. When I was just doing it by memory, I put it under orchestral, but if you listen closely, not only orchestral instruments. World S is a string section with a tiny synth lead on top, so it's hybrid. A Tense Moment, a mock-up. Kind of like the first one, but they add a couple of different instruments. Bowser's Galaxy Generator, full orchestra. King Bowser's Might, also full orchestra. Fated Battle, unlike the first game, this one is full orchestra. Precious One is a mock-up. Although it sounds like they use different string samples, so I almost thought it was real at first, but no, it's a mock-up. Super Mario Galaxy 2 credits, one of my favorite Mario Galaxy tracks of all time. It's full orchestra. The Luma and the Hat, which is kind of a remake of A Wish from the first one, is orchestral this time around. Green Star is just a flute and a violin with some synths, and so it's going to go under instrument or two. And I was hesitant to put this one, but it's the Super Mario Galaxy 2 trailer theme, and this one is hybrid because of one part. So it's kind of like the Sky Station Galaxy a bit. Galaxy intro, much like the first one, mock-up. And that is it. We have sorted out which tracks were with real instruments and which ones were with MIDI synth sampled instruments. So here's my final list. Again, there might be some that I got wrong, but this was the best I could do. So help me refine it in the comments if it even needs it. And to answer the main question of this video, if we add Super Mario Galaxy's 22 tracks to Super Mario Galaxy 2's 29 tracks, we come to a total of 51 orchestral pieces from both games. Well, this was fun and challenging to put together, and I hope it was fun to listen to or watch. Again, let me know in the comments if there's any other tracks you want me to recreate with more modern fake instruments. So, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Go create something, and thanks for dropping by. Merry Christmas. Wah 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 wah.